Hey Law Nerds, today we're talking about Emily D. Baker, her incredible content, the beautiful community she's built, and why I think she is the perfect example of content for the sake of connection. Let's talk about this case study. Hey, I'm Molly from Visibility Hacking Studios, and I think Emily D. Baker is one of the best content creators out there. And it's not just because her content is fun to watch, not just because she is absolutely brilliant and has a superpower for dumbing down legalese for us non-lawyers in the room. And it's not just because I see myself in her. Maybe it's because she stands up for what she believes in. Maybe it's because she makes room for everyone at the table. Maybe it's because she is creating the world that she wants to see. Today we're going to talk about Emily D. Baker, her incredible channel, her brilliant community, all the great content she creates, and why content for creation really matters. So today we're going to start out by talking about why people are not meant to be put in boxes. Then we'll get into the digital marketing of it all, and we'll talk about the power of cross-platform promotion and how to do it right. But stick around to the end because I want to talk about shaping the experience and how Emily D. Baker and her law nerd community do it so well. So whether you're a law nerd or a visibility hacker, or better yet, you're both, join us. We'll see you after the intro. I love Emily D. Baker's channel for so many reasons, and we're going to talk about a few of them in today's video. But the one thing I want to draw your attention to first is why her content is so good. I think a lot of the success of Emily D. Baker's channel is because of the variety of content she creates. She'll do long live streams that are 4 hours long or so. She'll do hour-long podcast episodes. She'll do some little interviews, but her audience doesn't seem to pick up on that as much. She'll chop down her longer bits into quick bits, so her viewers who want quick consumption of information, they have access to that as well. She also deepens the connection with her community by having members-only content. So this is where she has more proximity and intimacy with her. No, I do not mean intimacy in a weird way. Her members on her channel and on her Patreon are able to get onto live Q&As with her, for example, and have more of a connection with her than her thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of followers she has on her YouTube channel, for example. I want to talk about why people don't fit into boxes and why I keep thinking of this every time I see her content. See, what Emily does is she is not afraid to be herself. She's not afraid to share her struggles. She's not afraid to be a flag bearer for those who are struggling just like her. And I don't mean currently struggling. I mean, she talks about the struggles she's had in the past and what she did to overcome that. And I'm going to talk about why that's super important in a little bit, so keep with me. What she does is she focuses on being herself, not trying to fit into a box. She doesn't look around the internet and go, okay, what does a lawyer need to look like? They need a suit, they need a tie, they need to wear heels if they're a lady, they need to be covered in makeup, they have to have that really conservative look, they need to have a power suit. That's not Emily D. Baker, and it's fantastic to see her come out of her shell over the last few years and really claim her territory as herself. And because she does this so fearlessly, she attracts a different style of audience than someone who was trying to fit into that mold looks like. See, she's attracting like-minded viewers who respect her for her just as much as they do because of her informed opinion. They come for her personality just as much as they come for her perspective. So I've been watching her content for a few years and I absolutely love it. It's great. I'm here for her personality and her perspective, but I saw something happening this year that completely changed my level of respect for Emily D. Baker and her community. I knew that she was attracting like-minded people, but I didn't know how much of an impact her content was having on other people. I knew how inspired her content was for myself, meaning because she was so fearlessly standing up for who she was, made me feel empowered to stand up for who I was. That was a powerful feeling. But what brought me literally to tears was when I started to see who her community was. See, because Emily redefined what it meant to be a lawyer. She's got purple hair. She swears a lot. She's got learning disabilities, but she also has a tool bag full of strategies that she has used over the years to help her get to where she is today. See, when I was a kid and I had purple hair, I was told very specifically that I could never be a lawyer, that kids like me will never succeed in that industry. Now, because my environment was saturated with messages like that, I believed them to be true. Fast forward to present day, where we have an entire generation who has grown up with people like Emily D. Baker, who have fearlessly claimed their space and said, no, 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 no. I am redefining what it means to be a lawyer, a doctor, etc., etc. This has given an entire generation a new lease on life, if you will, a new set of opportunities. Take that, glass ceiling. Okay, I'm kind of getting away from the story about how her community brought me to tears. So I probably told this story before, and I'll try and say it really quickly, but there was a live stream where I saw a huge change in the kinds of comments. The law nerd community is a beautiful example of what we like to call crosstalk, when your community talks to themselves, talks to each other, and supports each other just as much, if not more, than they talk to you, the creator. And so that's a beautiful space to be in. But one day, these comments were scrolling by, and it was comment after comment after comment of things like, Emily D. Baker, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have taken the LSATs. Emily D. Baker, I have dyslexia too, and if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have taken the MCATs. Emily D. Baker, if it wasn't for your content, I would not have tried hard enough to get into med school, law school, paralegal school, whatever. It was incredible to see how her content, completely unrelated to what these people were pursuing, but because she showed up and created content that was authentic to her personality, to who she was, to the vision that she wants to create for the world, to the space that she has created for herself and therefore her community. Because she was brave and bold enough to do that, she has changed the game for people in her community. And it even brings me chills just talking about it right now. So we should get to our question of the day, or we're gonna talk about Emily D. Baker for hours and hours and hours. So our question of the day today is, are you a law nerd? Are you an Emily D. Baker fan? If you are, let us know how you found her content, what you love about her content down in the comments. If you haven't yet become a follower of the Emily D. Baker, then definitely go check her out. She's all over the place, but her content is fantastic. And above that, the community she has built is incredible. So share your thoughts, share your stories down in the comments below. Oh, okay, so enough with the emotional stories. Now I'm fired up. I feel like I've now staked my claim and I have my place here in the business world. Thank you, Emily D. Baker. But let's talk about the digital marketing of it all, because one thing that Emily D. Baker does really well is understand all of the digital marketing behind being a content creator, and she does it so well. One thing she does super well is cross-promotion on other platforms. So you see that she's gathering her audience on her YouTube channel, but she also has a great following on her Instagram channel, and she also utilizes her Twitter channel. Now, Twitter channel, Twitter feed, I'm not a Twitterer, but she uses those three platforms very differently. And let's talk about how she uses them. Whatever channel she's on, she always focuses on providing value first. So she'll cross-promote her own content on her own channels, and she does that really well. She does that very consistently, which is key. But what she also does super well that I want you to be inspired by is cross-promoting on other people's platforms. So what she does is she goes on other people's podcasts, she goes on other people's live shows, she goes on other people's platforms and serves value to their audiences. If people like what they hear and they like her opinions and they like what she's putting down, then they're invited to go deeper and follow her on her channel, or at least check out her content. The key takeaway here when it comes to talking on other people's shows is, one, you have to serve value first, which means you are not there to wave your own flag. You are not there to promote your own brand. But when you create this type of content from a place of connecting with your audience, connecting to their audience, connecting to members of their audience who are potential members of your audience, you serve value first. You connect with them first, and then you create the resistance-free path for them to now come hang out and check out your content. She does this so well. I've checked her out on other people's podcasts, on other people's live shows, on like panel discussions and roundtable discussions, and even on traditional mainstream media. And that is because she serves from a different place. She serves from a place of value and connection rather than just trying to hog the spotlight for herself. She's genuinely changing the conversation just by showing up. If you want to start showing up more, then definitely make sure you hit the subscribe button. Join us here on the channel. We'd love to see you around for more. Welcome to my wheelhouse. Let's talk about live stream shows and how we can get our audience to shape the experience. From a psychological perspective, this gives our viewers buy-in to the show. This gives them a place of feeling like they are a co-creator in the experience rather than just someone who's passing by or passively consuming the content. Emily D. Baker does this really, really well. She creates tons of opportunities for her audience to co-create the show, whether it's polls on Twitter to get their opinions, or I think she calls it the court of public opinion. Hilarious, well on brand, great job. But what she does is she creates these different moments for her audience to shape the experience. One of the things that she does is have a color-coded system. So she has lights in her background in her office that can change color. Now, she gives a little synopsis of one of the legal stories she's going to be talking about, and then her audience is able to pick whether or not this is fishy, super fishy, or like total red light, what's going on, this is total effery. Yes, I said effery because I don't want to swear too much. Her channel does lots of swearing and they use a different word for that. What's really neat to see is how her community talks about the colors that should be presented. Is it a code red? Is it an amber day? Is it a green day? And it's so interesting to see the debates and the conversations that naturally flow simply from having this moment for her audience to shape their experience. Another thing that she does that a lot of other creators do is she has a subscriber counter in the background, and her counter actually dings after it's reached certain milestones. And on her show, she also has a bumper video that she plays when that dinging on the counter happens. So again, it incentivizes her audience who are casually viewing to start subscribing so that they can actually change what's happening on screen. They can actually impact what's happening that they, the viewer, are seeing, but also that's going to be impactful for all the other viewers watching. The third thing that she does that's really interesting is for her members. Those who have taken the step, not only are they interested in her content, they're interested enough to become subscribers, and they're interested enough to pay for a membership now. So those people are granted a little bit deeper intimacy level. And I don't mean like intimacy on the intimacy level. I mean intimacy in their connection to you and their access to you as the creator. So in a members only Q&A session, for example, it's going to be a smaller group than her live streams that have sometimes 100,000 people watching, it feels. But that smaller group, more intimate group, she's able to have more of a connection with. Another cool thing that she does is she has a text line. So she does the same thing that Gary Vaynerchuk does, where there's a text line that potential viewers can type on into their phones. And then Emily D. Baker, the content creator who's using this community service, is able to then text their audience and say, hey guys, I'm going live, check me out, here's the link. And it's quite amusing actually when she catches herself having not sent out that text message to what she calls the text crew. And then she catches herself, or members of the community will call her out for not doing it. And either she'll jump on and do it live, or she'll just send out a little tweet on her Twitter. It's quite interesting, but it does keep you on your toes. But it, as a member of the community, really makes you feel like you're part of something, not just disconnected by watching a content creator. You actually have these opportunities to engage and to shape that experience. Hey, before we go, if you haven't already, definitely check out the episode of the Showcase where we highlighted the Emily D. Baker show and all of her great content. If you want to keep this conversation going, head over to that video, check it out. I will see you again very, very soon. And until I do, remember I love you, be excellent to each other, and just go live because your people are out there waiting for you.